Hello. This is another video, probably the last video I'll make about Nadine Dorries, Nadine. This morning I received a message from my MP saying that I shouldn't expect a letter back from Nadine, because she was clearly distracted by the race for the succession of the Prime Minister. Well, she's not standing. She should therefore still, presumably, be committed to the ministry that she still inhabits. But, I've known for some time that she doesn't do the job, certainly doesn't do the job properly. Now we're beginning to get some of the evidence of her mismanagement. So, a couple of months ago, I told you a story about how Nadine Dorries, at a DCMS committee meeting, told an extraordinary story about how she was effectively mistreated during the filming of Tower Block of Commons. And she said that she'd had lunch with one of the people with whom she shared a house. That could only have been Rena. And that in this lunch, it was revealed that the lady's sons were in fact actors. She then explained how she went off to buy something, I can't remember, at some point, and the person who was dealing with her was also an actor. Now, I have my own gripes about reality TV, but I have no gripes actually with the way reality TV is filmed, and my gripes are mostly about the safeguarding issues, which I see slightly differently to the way that the media and the production companies tend to represent them. I am very much concerned about the growing power of production companies over the people who are cast in these shows, and the DCMS committee looking into Love Island and the Jeremy Kyle show was truncated, stopped short, and Nadine Dorries and Oliver Dowden did not reconvene that committee, and therefore it mostly heard testimony from production staff, not from people who had performed in these shows, often called contestants to belittle and demean them, often called contestants, and therefore not paid properly. So my recommendation has been all the time that people who are performing in these shows should be treated as performers, should have outside support from agents and unions, so that when the production is over, they are not at the mercy of the production thereafter. The Ofcom regulations, which were put forward by the DCMS, make it now clear that people who are in these programs are then at the mercy of the program makers for the next 18 months, and are therefore at the mercy of any form of manipulation that may occur, and they have very little support from outside. I turned to Equity, and Equity was not remotely interested. Equity said, "Oh, but people are performing as themselves." Well, that really is the issue. They are performing. And to perform as yourself is as difficult as to perform as somebody else. Now, Nadine Dorries has now been exposed by Channel 4, which has done an investigation into the claims that she made in this sort of offhand, jokey sort of way, that the show itself that she was on was faked. Of course, there was an element of fakery about it, because there's an element of fakery about any form of production. But the show itself, Channel 4, is absolutely adamant was not faked. More than that, Rena has confirmed, as I said about 2 months ago, that she never had lunch with Nadine Dorries, and even if she'd been invited, she wouldn't have done. So this is a complete piece of collywallop. It's fiction. It's nonsense. It's lies. I pull myself short from calling Nadine Dorries a liar. I think she's inefficient. I think she's chaotic. And I think she doesn't master her brief or do her reading or open her mail. Is she a liar? I have no idea. But Channel 4 certainly thinks she's misrepresented the truth in this instance. And I'm only too happy to tell this story and to encourage you to write to Nadine Dorries in the closing weeks, months of her ministry, and to ask for clarification. Did she have lunch with Rena? Does she stand by her statement that at least 3 people in that program were actors misrepresenting themselves as real people? And if she is so concerned about the quality of reality TV, why didn't she do more in her position as minister to respond to the calls from me and from other people? I cannot believe I'm the only person who's bashing a fist on the table and say we actually have to do more. Reality TV has become a main part of television production. Why? Because it's cheap. And therefore we have a duty to look after the people who are involved in reality TV. Not only the performers themselves, but also all those many people who work backstage and are similarly abused, who are similarly underpaid, underrepresented, or misrepresented, and who walk away from the experience of working on these shows with a sense of misery. We have to have a form of entertainment which is not a gladiatorial display. We have to have a form of entertainment which is positive and which people who are watching can look at with an uplifted feeling. They can feel that they are not A, wasting their time, and B, that they are not ploughing the gutter, eating the pig swill of television. Because non-scripted reality, which of course is not non-scripted, it's just that we don't see the script, we don't know the story that we are on. Non-scripted reality is a way of creating something as dramatic and as fresh and lively as EastEnders or Neighbours. If you cast it well, this group of people will behave and will respond to one another exactly as they would do if you had written it. And we don't have to then go through the process of learning a script and recognizing that the words that we've been given are not quite what we would say. No, we are placed in an environment where we would say exactly what we do say. And very clever editing and very clever and almost invisible direction can get a very tight and convincing and fun program that is thoroughly watchable. I salute, every time I come across a new program and I'm encouraged to watch it, I salute the vision of the creative team. That creative team is backed up by sharks who are there to exploit and to manipulate. And they need to be stopped. Bay agrees with me.